What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Military Radio podcast for the Vintage Cult Cinema with my very special guest, That Phat Samurai Guy. Thank you, sir, for being here today.
Yeah, now that's what I call an intro, baby. Oh yeah, I'm
I
excited.
saw you rocking
I'm
out
pumped.
there a little bit.
Yeah, man. It was bootleg playing the air drums. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Honored to be here. Honored to be here as always.
And we are going to be speaking about reviewing 1998's Soldier.
What?
Starring,
I thought it was gonna be
yes.
Universal Soldier the Return with Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Wrong movie. Wrong movie. We have to settle for this one. Starring Kurt Russell, Jason Scott Lee, Connie Nielsen, Michael Chiklis, and Gary Busey. Oh my god, that's Chiklis in that? Oh my
yeah,
god.
he was in it. And one of my
Holy
favorite
shit.
British persons,
Sean
Sean
Pertwee.
Pertwee. Yeah,
Yep.
he's great.
And the funny thing is, I had just done a live event with Sentry yesterday for Event Horizon, who also was Paul Anderson directed that one as well as this one.
Yes.
So funny enough, Sean was in that one as well. So
That's
there's
right. Yeah. Back when Paul W.S. Anderson made fun, good movies.
Right.
You know, I was a big fan and supporter of this director from the very beginning. Because it was Mortal Kombat, and then Event Horizon, and then Soldier, and then the first Resident Evil movie. And I was like, I really like this guy's style. He makes fun genre films, fun genre movies. I'm like, dude, I like this guy. Not so much of late. I think something that should be a discussion you do on your channel at some point. Like, what happened? Something went wrong somewhere. But I mean, we could say
go to shit.
what happened?
So what if this director didn't go to shit?
And I want to root for the guy. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. He did Monster Hunter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot. I saw that, and I forgot that Tony Jaa wasn't even in it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Do you remember liking it?
I think I like parts of it, but I think that it was massively overrated. I remember people saying it was really good, and I was like, I waited for it to come on Max or something, and I finally saw it. But I can't say I was blown away by it at all.
Yeah, I kind of, I was slowly losing faith, towards the end. I mean, a lot of people love, the Resident Evil movies could be fun B movies, and you can enjoy them for what they are. But I gave up. I gave up with Resident Evil Final Chapter. I was just like, what happened to this guy?
Yeah, I mean,
what happened? You ruined your own continuity of the story you created for your franchise.
The first Mortal Kombat, it's still a cult favorite. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And
like the way he filmed the action scenes in Final Chapter, I was like, what is this? Like, what happened? So anyway, and Three Musketeers had potential. Three Musketeers had potential.
Yes.
We had a great cast. Orlando Bloom was playing an overtop, mustache twirling villain. You had it was a steampunk kind of world, and I mean, it really had potential to be Mads Mikkelsen as one of the minions, but it really had potential to be a fun B movie or a fun genre film, and even that it just failed.
And he even did one of your favorite films in the Lost Lands. I mean,
I still, even though that movie looks like shit, like green screen, the movie, I still want to watch it for free though, because it might be good bad. It might be good bad. At this point, that's how far he's fallen as a director for me.
Yeah.
If your movies are at least good bad, I turned Italian for some reason. Shout out to Tony, Tony of the Dead. But yeah, like I would take that at this point. But I mean, rewatching this movie, which I actually saw in the theaters when this came out way back in the day, and me and my buddy are big Kurt Russell fans, and we were like, hey, we saw a couple of TV spots with the fucking Rob Zombie fucking music playing in the trailer, because that's how it was in the 90s, goddammit. And we were like, all right, that's it, let's go. And we really enjoyed it. We didn't really have high expectations. We just went out and got some popcorn, and we were like, let's go see a movie. and we had a blast with it, and we always were kind of fond of it. But it's been so long since I've watched it. It's been many years. So this way, this is a perfect episode for today because I got a chance to revisit it yesterday. Popped in the old dusty Blu-ray, and I still feel exactly the same way about it. Actually, I appreciate it a lot more this time around because I'm sitting there and Lady Phat's over here doing her thing, her crafts and stuff, cross stitching, and I'm watching, and we were both looking at each other. We're like, dude, there's so many quiet character moments in this movie.
Yep.
For this movie, a lot of people dismiss it as B movie garbage, blah 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 blah. But there's so many quiet character moments that he lets play out, he lets build, and I'm like, where the fuck is this director? You still get the camera film stuff, you still get the Gatling guns and the flamethrower and the throat slitting. You still get all that fun stuff. It's basically Rambo in space.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And there's even a Western vibe too. You got him wearing a duster at some point, and there's, if you look at the old classic movie Westerns like Shane and Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider, you could see, influences of the Western, the outsider coming in, nobody knows his background, and he ends up helping the people that are there. Those old classic Zatoichi movies, right? So there's definitely a vibe to this movie, but yet we still let Kurt Russell. We still have. So I'm excited to talk about this movie. We still have Kurt Russell acting his ass off with just his eyes. One of the reviews I saw for this movie. Actually, I've seen several reviews for this movie. You know what they were? Man, Kurt Russell was so emotionless in this movie. He was such a bore. I was like, did you understand the movie?
Yeah.
You even watched the movie. That's the point of the fucking movie.
Right. Like, where were you? Like, not paying attention to like exactly how this guy was built?
But that's the point of the movie. It's like he was bred since he was a babe to be a killer and show no emotion at all. That's the whole point. And Kurt Russell is so good that there's these moments throughout the film where you can tell he's actually vulnerable, especially when he gets dumped. When we got to bring in the new models, the Jason Scott Lee guys. Let's bring in the new models. They're stronger, faster, quicker, and everything, but they have no experience. That's their flaw, which we'll get to at the end. But they have this wonderful opening, kind of tryout. Let's see who's faster.
Let's start with tryouts.
Yeah. And then at this point, and you see young Wyatt played a young Kurt.
I just learned that Wyatt, young John Walker, is there for to fill in for his daddy as a young 11-year-old Todd.
That was fun seeing him, on the early flashbacks or whatever, the montage. And I like when they showed him, he's older now and he's Kurt Russell now. I like the montage we had where they just showed him and his men just on different battles. You got the snow battle, the nighttime gunfight battle. You got them on the moon.
I was actually telling Neko because I did not catch this, and you maybe did.
Okay.
So as he's doing the wars, like they're going through the years that he's fighting these wars with his men, he's getting these like trophies for the battles he's won, like marks. And one of them's like the Pliskin patch from Escape from New York.
No
McCready Cross from The Thing. Yes.
No.
Cash Medal of Honor from Tango and Cash. So there's like this list of awards that he got from movies that he did in the past, and I didn't catch it.
Was he wearing it, or was it the tattoos on his arm?
I don't remember, but like I'm assuming they were probably referencing it every battle. Like,
oh my god. No, I missed all that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How fun.
I was laughing so hard when I saw the trivia. I was like, oh my God, I didn't catch all that shit. That's great.
Oh, look at that. See, this guy knows his stuff.
And
I missed that one.
Interesting about it was apparently Anderson, like when he approached Russell to do this film, obviously he because Kurt wanted to get in shape. Kurt really felt it was important to be in shape for this film. So he spent like the next 18 months like getting in shape. And so that's when Anderson went and did Event Horizon and in the meantime. So like I thought, well, yeah, because I remember when this film came out, I didn't know exactly how to view it because, you know, my heyday of Kurt was pretty much in the 80s.
Yeah.
So we're talking like late 90s here. So I'm like, I'm seeing the trailer for this and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like Kurt as an older guy being like an action hero, like even though he was already one in the 80s, it's like I didn't know how to feel about it.
Yeah.
But you know, once I saw it, I was like, dude, this dude killed it like so hard.
He's the most jacked version of Kurt Russell. I don't think he's ever gotten more jacked in this movie.
No, I think he's more jacked in this than he was in Escape from New York. Like I don't think he was as defined in that one if he was in this one.
Thick. He had bulk too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was thick. But it's crazy because he's pretty much on everyone's list of most liked actor or most beloved, or he's on the top 10 list. But what's strange is as many action movies he was in before all this, he wasn't seen, you know, kind of like what you just said a couple of seconds ago. He wasn't seen as an action lead guy until Stargate came out. When Stargate came out, that got more eyes on him. And they did like a poll and they checked the facts and they were like, oh, when this movie played overseas and stuff like that, people were going to see the movie because of Kurt Russell. So they're like, oh, maybe we could take a risk on him being like an action lead. So it really was because of the success of Stargate that got him the role. And this movie, out of his whole entire career, this is his highest paid he's ever gotten as an actor. I think he got paid $15 million. And here's the crazy thing. Kurt Russell's so much of a badass in real life. The movie was almost an immediate disaster because he trained for what, a year and a half or something like that. The fighting scenes, the using the guns and all that, and getting in shape, like you said. And then the first week of filming, he breaks his left ankle. Yeah. By not even doing a stunt. He just like fell over or tripped over something, broke his left ankle. And so you notice a lot of the scenes where he's laying down, he's like this on the bed, or he's sitting down. They filmed all that first because Kurt was like, I'm not missing out on this $15 million payday. He's like, I'm not missing out on the biggest payday in my whole entire career. So, and he deserves it. He earned it. You know what I mean? Fucking Jack Burton's son, The Thing. Kurt Russell earned it. All right. So they had to film all that stuff. So all the action scenes they filmed later, towards the end when he was all better. And then he ended up breaking bones, the top bones, a couple of fractures on his right foot.
Jesus Christ.
It's a pretty physical movie. But yeah, he powered through it, man. Because he had all those running scenes with the trial with him and Jason Scott Lee and all that. That was filmed all towards the end because they had no choice. They had to wait. And but it was almost an immediate disaster. First week of filming, he was injured. Yeah,
I felt bad too because like it cost him like $60 million to make the film, but they only like grossed like around 11 million. And I'm like, it had everything to do with PR because they did not promote this thing very well at all. I remember that pretty clear.
Yeah,
which sucked.
Yeah, and it does suck, and it deserved better.
But it is a cult film.
There you go. Yeah, it is definitely a cult film. Rewatching this the other day, I'm like, is this a Christmas movie?
It's gonna be a good double feature with Die Hard.
Let's make a triple feature. Let's throw in Invasion USA while we're at it, and maybe some Lethal Weapon, and Long Kiss Goodnight. But I'm like rewatching this, and I don't know. I never thought of it as a Christmas movie until I rewatched it, and I'm just like, dude, this is a Christmas movie, because they celebrate Christmas. What you call
the guy in a Santa suit?
Yeah, that's the commish. What you call the guy from Shield? The Thing. He was dressed up as Santa, and there's Christmas lights throughout the movie. So that's it. It's official right here on Anubis's channel. We said it first. No one,
so I guarantee you, movie.
I guarantee you, we are the only two that are claiming Soldier as a Christmas movie right here today, son. That's right.
And we'll double down on that shit all day.
That's right. If I see other people copying us, I'm like, yeah, we said it first. We said it first. But yeah, back to Soldier, man. Great. I love that the fight when they climb the chains. You know, it was like an endurance test.
Yeah,
And there's
Jason
another,
Scott Lee.
yeah,
I
and there's
remember him from Dragon, the Bruce Lee
yes,
story. That was such a great movie. So like,
another. I just yes, oh yeah, shit, that could kind of be a cult film if you think about it.
yes,
That
I
might be
agree.
the best Bruce exploitation movie ever
Yeah.
made. But you know, watching the movie again, I turned to Lady Fat and I was like, Jason Scott Lee deserved a lot better. He's
Mhm.
handsome, he's jacked, he's athletic, he can act, and he has a look that no one else looks like this guy.
Right.
And you know, and I don't know what happened. And I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Hmm.
Disney's Jungle Book remake.
Oh, that's right.
I'm throwing the Hail Mary. I
So
don't know.
he did sort of the foobar that Brandon Fraser did after the Mummy movies is went and did some bad shit.
Mm, and that was kind of it. I mean, I don't even
Yeah,
remember that movie being bad, but I don't think it was
right.
a hit like they wanted. And I remember he was good in it as a older Mowgli. They
But
didn't, but
didn't he take a lot of shit when he did the Bruce Lee movie? Like wasn't there like a lot of backlash to that?
um, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that movie
I don't think it was
was
like anything
successful.
super serious, but obviously, Bruce's family and reputation, they always are very picky about how he was displayed. Like even with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like, there were some issues with that in there.
Well,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
well,
So
I thought Linda was involved with
she
Dragon
might have
somehow.
been, but like obviously the movie kind of fibbed some things here and there that make it more interesting.
It Hollywood glossed it. It
Yeah,
did. That's why I call it Bruceploitation movie.
right, right.
Which
But
there's
I couldn't remember if like
millions.
people just frowned upon him doing the role or something. I'm like, I thought he did a good job personally, but
He especially when he didn't know any martial arts.
right.
Well, he really worked hard to do the best he could. And some of those fight scenes are good,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but it's just a fun movie, you know. But I mean, there's worse Bruce exploitation films out there. Did
Yes,
you see
there is.
Birth of a Dragon?
Probably at some point,
Birth of a
yes.
Dragon was a WWE Films Studios movie, which was bizarre.
No, I have not seen that because I would have saw that logo and been like, "Tune
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
tune
And
out."
there's yeah, that's another review for another day. Maybe we'll review that on my channel, me and you, Birth of a Dragon.
Do you want to do a
Uh,
versus between that?
oh my, you know what? That might be fun. I've been itching on bringing verses back once in a while.
Nobody's gonna want to pick a winner.
Well, unless you vote for which one they think is worse. But anyway, back to Soldier. But
Is
yeah,
it really that
I wish Jason Scott Lee the best. You know, when
bad?
he
Yeah.
returned for the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sequel, that was like the Netflix movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, it had its moments, but it wasn't that good. But he was a presence in that. He was the
Yeah.
villain in that, and he shined even right next to Donnie Yen. So the guy really had something, you know. I was at least hoping he would make a lot of straight to video movies, just be active at least. But I haven't really seen him in anything. I think the last straight to video movie I saw him in was Time Cop 2. They
Oh wow.
sequeled Time Cop. So I've heard the action's good in it, but it's straight, you know, it's probably low budget. Well, anyway, Soldier, obviously the green screen and some of the CGI is dated. It's 98 for fuck's sake. But dude, there's some beautiful sets in here.
Yes.
I mean, because we're on Kurt unfortunately loses to Jason Scott Lee's character, and now he's old news. Gary Busey goes, he was our best man. You know what I mean? I don't know why my Gary Busey sounded like Nick Nolte there, but you know, and they're like, well, dump him, get him out of here. He's trash now. So they literally dump him on a wasteland type planet that they don't think people live there. And there's some really like, I mean, I think there's some love for George Miller in this movie because this could be a easily post-apocalyptic movie at times, the way it
Well, what do
looks.
you
But
think
there's some
about it?
beautiful
Because
sets.
the soldiers themselves when they're putting on that gear, man, it's totally almost like Nazi SS type shit. you
Oh
know.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm sure that was probably on purpose too. But
And
there's
how
some.
well did Jason Isaacs? He always likes playing villains, Mister Harry Potter guy
It
himself.
in his sleep.
Yes.
I mean, him playing a villain is like Tuesday for him. He's so good at it.
Right.
He's so good. A Hook, Captain Hook. And I think he was Captain Hook in the Peter Pan movie. That's an underrated Peter Pan movie. I don't know why people don't talk about that one, but he was a really good Captain Hook. But yeah, he's always good. You know what you're going to get with him. But he's like, yeah, get rid of the trash. And I love when Kurt's character loses, the camera pans to his brothers, his soldiers, fellow soldiers that he grew up with. And you could see them with their acting where they're disappointed and they feel bad for him, but they don't show emotion because they can't. I mean, there's again little things like this, but he gets found by what's her name from Gladiator, Connie Nelson.
Yes.
Who's married to plays Sandra, who's married to Sean Pertwee's character Mace.
Yeah.
And they have a little boy named Nathan. And there you go. And of course, I mean, they find this Jack dude who looks like he's been in battle. Sean's character immediately recognizes that he's a soldier. He's like, yeah. He even calls him Sergeant.
Yeah.
I think he knows. And of course, the rest of
it's kind of interesting because they had to obviously tattoo their names, and then there's like a number underneath. So I'm not sure if that's like some identification to like what rank they are or not. But
yeah, Kurt Russell's Todd 3465, and Jason Scott Lee is Kane 607. So
what a great name,
Kane. I know, right? Right. And so they take him in, and of course the rest of the community are like, they're all outsiders just trying to survive, what they salvage on this wasteland planet. We don't really know. We don't really get a lot of backstory on them. We don't know how they got there, I don't think. But it's not about them because they all end up dying later anyway. I think only Connie and her son Nathan and I think maybe 8 other people make it by the end of the movie. I think everyone else dies, I think. Because they're the only ones on the ship, right?
There's the one dude who at first he's like one of the few with the guns, and like after Todd ends up like saving him the first time, because when they send in like 3 troopers in there to go clean him out, he's like, hey partner, you need help? I'm just looking at him like, do I look like I need help from you?
Kurt just looks at him and he's like, oh
yeah. But you brought up a good point about something about some of the smaller details of this film. One thing that I really noticed watching it again today was you mentioned after he loses to Kane in the trial, how we see the first kind of break in the armor of these soldiers because they're taught to be non-feeling and all that. And there's just like different moments, like the one that really gets me the most is when he's being forced out of the community because he's trying to teach the little kid to defend himself against a snake.
Right.
And Pertwee's, being the father and the mother, they don't understand that's what he's doing. They think he's being reckless. So they kick him out, and then he's got this moment where he's sitting in that tube, on his own, and tears start falling down his face, and he doesn't know how to process that because he doesn't know what that is about. He's never experienced that. Yeah. And he just keeps a straight face. So it's so perfectly done.
Yeah. Because he's, Kurt's a legend, and don't forget that also culminating in kicking him out was also that him dealing with PTSD and him hitting the heavy bag, or his version of the heavy bag. Yeah. And he's having the war flashbacks while hitting the heavy bag because that's all he knows is combat. And I keep calling them the commish.
The commish.
He saves the commish's life earlier. And the commish wanted to give him something, and he turns around and grabs him, and he's like choking him out like he's trying to kill him. And then he realized, oh shit, what am I doing? Yeah, so it was little things like that, and but Connie's character, she saw something in him, and she was trying to be nice to him and nurture him and show him how to plant and and stuff like that. And but yeah, you see him actually look sad that he's getting kicked out. Like he's a puppy, like he's a dog. You're getting kicked out from his master, but he's so good, so good. But then here come the villains, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, I love what you call was just like Jason Isaacs is like, well, if there's people down there, then they're considered hostiles. We gotta do, we gotta drop a bomb, we gotta colonize, we gotta do our evil thing. But if there's people down there, and Gary Busey's like,
that
yeah, but
dynamic between Gary Busey and him are just hilarious because like he's like, oh, if I wouldn't be what I would do, I would just send in everybody and just nuke that place.
yeah, oh yeah, because Jason Isaacs' men, the super duper versions of the soldiers were getting
Yeah.
their asses kicked because they don't have experience.
Yep.
They have everything else, but they were going in there and they were getting murked. But I didn't want. I don't know. I think Sean Pertwee getting his leg cut off because Sean feels bad that they kicked him out, and then he goes to find him and bring him back. But his leg gets cut off because the villains show up. I think Kurt should have carried him back injured. I don't think they should have killed him off.
Yeah, but I
But
guess
it still works because it's motivation. Because now Kurt's like,
and
Kurt
plus
feels
he's a
bad.
werewolf. I mean, dog soldiers. He's still a werewolf, so I mean, he'll come back.
Sausages.
Sausages.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It still works. His friend, who he considers his friend, dies, and then he had that slow motion shot of him looking up, like, all right, I'm gonna fuck some up, because he knows that they're gonna go there and kill the villages. And I think Sean kind of pleads with him.
One thing I thought was interesting was, and I don't know if you got the same feeling, because like even though they never go there, there's clearly this dynamic between him and Connie's character, and it's like you get this impression that he's learning to try to be human because she's like very surprised that he doesn't, like he said he feels fear and discipline.
And that's
but then but then like it's almost like he actually is attracted to her in some way because like he's kind of noticing her. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, he had a stiffy. He had a stiffy.
Yeah,
that's why he sat down a lot. He didn't want to stand up.
They're like, once Pertwee was out of the picture, I'm thinking, oh boy, is this setting up this like future romance between these two?
Thank God it did not.
I'm glad they never quite went there with that. Like it's good just keeping him straight laced, even though he gets close with the boy at the end, and not in a bad way. It's not perverted or anything.
No. He's just feeling feelings that he'd never felt before, But I'm glad you brought that up because, again, like I was saying earlier, you have these quiet character moments where she asks him, "What do you feel?" And he, like you said, he says, "Fear." And what was the other one?
Discipline.
Discipline. And she felt so bad that's all he feels 24/7. And then she goes to hug him, and he shakes.
Yes.
He doesn't know how to react to this. And then she's like, oh, shit. Dude, where the fuck is this director right now, bro?
Right.
What the fuck happened, Paul?
So much
what
attention.
Shit, Anderson? What the
Another
fuck
one of my
happened?
favorite scenes is when he's taking on the guys when they come back at night to try to bombard the compound, and he has that Rambo moment. He's in the water and it just slowly dies underneath. Dude. I thought that was so nice touch.
Pops up the Gatling gun. They thought they had him. Dude, again, I love those big armored vehicles, how they looked. Those were pretty cool.
They were great.
Yeah, the big turrets. Again, the design, the design of the vehicle design, armor design was really unique. And it's Rambo in space time. Let's go. And he starts taking dudes out and setting up traps. I mean, it's such a delight, And of course, me and Anubis would want bigger body count because that's how we roll. But they only had 17 soldiers. They established that. So it kind of felt like more died, to be honest. But
you're right, yeah.
but dude, I mean, did you laugh like me rewatching this when the elder of the community, the female leader,
I know where you're going with it.
She was like, all right, I'm gonna go talk to them. Everybody stay here. I'm gonna go talk to them. She's gonna talk to the villains, right? As soon as she walks up there, boom, they just shoot a rocket at her ass. And she flies 50 feet. I was laughing my ass off. Oh my God. I was dying.
Oh my God. I was like,
bro.
Oh shit. That was so fucking funny.
Do you think this movie would have done better if it had an action star of the time? Same plot, same everything. But it had
probably.
Yeah, I feel the same way about No Escape. Have you seen No Escape?
That's the one with Terminator guy, right? Or no, excuse me. You know,
Ray Liotta.
Yes,
Ray
thank
Liotta's
you.
in there.
Yeah,
dude, that is I love No Escape, and that's another movie like this movie. That No Escape could be on your show. That could be another cult movie. But
I mean, you literally, dude, if you would have put Schwarzenegger in there, even at that time, that movie probably would have done better.
Sure. And plus, but also I think it was the late 90s, because remember, one more year after this, there's a movie that's going to come out that changed everything, and that's The Matrix.
Yep.
I think towards the late 90s, these 80s type movie, Rambo type movies, I think were kind of losing steam.
Yes.
And that could have been part of it as well. But with No Escape, they originally wanted Van Damme. And I think if Van Damme was the star of that, No Escape would have done better in the theaters. But I like the whole point of that movie was the director wanted an actor to play against type. He didn't want a guy doing roundhouse kicks. That's why he chose Ray Liotta. I thought Ray Liotta did a really good job, especially in performance in that. But No Escape is great. If you guys have not seen it, it's very underrated. But I feel No Escape, like Soldier, are one of those 90s movies where they kind of just fell between the cracks. And
I think the other problem is like the name. Like Soldier just doesn't tell you a lot. I mean, obviously it represents what he is, but really, if you're just your general movie goer, you're kind of like, well, what the fuck's this supposed to be about? It doesn't have like any kind of real catchy phrase or anything that would really draw you in.
Right. No, that's a good point too. But yeah, I feel like this movie is just one of those that it wasn't a huge success, but it just kind of felt. But it's not as bad as everyone says it is. This easily could have been is it really that bad episode, or is this underrated episode? This could have been that too. But like,
you actually bring up a great point, because Neko had said that what was it, 17 or 71%? Missy,
I'm sure it's 17.
17%. Yeah, see, that's fucking ridiculous.
That's really
absurd.
That's really bad. But again, it's just such an enjoyable movie. Very simplistic plot, and the whole point of it is him kind of redeeming himself, and fighting for others. That you could say trope that you see a lot in action movies, and never gets old. Revenge movies never get old for me, and people, the redemption films never get old to me. And there was something here. It's not just flamethrowers, which you see that one shot that stuntman got lit on fire in the same shot. Like the guy just lit him up. You see him in the movie, which is nuts. It's not just rockets and flamethrowers and martial arts fights. We're going to get to the main finale fight in a second. It's not just that. There is heart to this. There is a little bit more to this genre film that definitely deserves more love. I think if you'd release this on 4K now, with the special features added and do a cool steelbook, I think today's audience may say, "Oh, what's this?" Especially collectors. I think they might get a kick out of it now. I think this would look beautiful in 4K, not so much the green screen and CGI.
Well, here's a question for you. If we did a little reimagining with the title and remade it today with like Jason Statham, who's been kind of hot recently.
I'm a soldier.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I don't know if he'd be able to pull off the emotional part of it, but he can do like the certainly, action and stuff like that.
Sure. I think this probably would do well, especially if you give it bigger budget, and the futuristic setting. People like that now. I think that would kind of be cool. It could be like a Rambo meets Star Wars type.
Because I do think some of the action stuff is starting to kind of come back a little bit, in terms of what we're seeing in the theaters and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, at least the one good thing came out of this movie. It pleases genre film fans like us, but Kurt Russell got paid $15 million. So something good came out.
No matter how much you paid him, you got $15 million.
Go Kurt.
Okay.
But yeah, he takes out all the soldiers. Jason Isaac freaks out at this point. He ends up shooting Gary Busey. Did you notice when after Busey got shot, he kept breathing? Like, Paul, cut away. Paul, cut away. He's still breathing while he's on the ground. You know, probably thinking about buttered sausage, you know, because Busey's insane.
But again, back to details. So like obviously when we get the moment where Kurt or Todd ends up coming back to it because it's his troop that's there, the remaining guys that are part of his like brigade, they're relegated to just like shit duty. They're not carrying weapons, they're just doing trash and shit like that. So they're out there putting this like Earth Destroyer thing out there, this bomb, because Isaac's character wants to just nuke it and go. But he shows up and there's like this immediate, like he talked about earlier in the film when they were disappointed and sad about Todd supposedly dying, even though he fell on another soldier. That probably saved his fall. But now he's back and there's like this immediate respect. Like they just see him and they're like immediately saluting. And then I get the favorite moment that I have is when they get back on the ship and they're dragging Isaacs and the other two out, and he finally sees Todd, and Todd's just staring him down, and like see like Isaac pissing himself. I thought that was a great attention to detail.
So good, so good.
Yeah.
That reminded me also earlier when all the other soldiers got replaced as well. So they're just standing there. And remember, they get called out, and they have the one, the black soldier. He salutes, and the girl goes, "You don't have to do that anymore, you idiot. You're not soldiers." And he's like, "Yes, sir." And he's just like confused.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like
he looked disappointed. Like they went to him a lot throughout this, which was kind of cool.
He was good. He was another really good actor. What's his? Let me go find him. I don't want to just keep saying,
right?
I don't want to keep saying the black guy. Even though his name's James Black.
James Black. Yeah.
There you go, Riley. He plays Riley. But yeah, little things like that. But let's get to the fight. We gotta get the rematch, son. We gotta get the audience what they want, even though they didn't give shit at the time.
It should be noted too, early in the trial, when they're up in these chains and they have to fight each other, there's a sweet moment where Todd grabs Kane and he really rips his eye out, like one of his eyes. So then we get flash forward to when they're on the planet now, and you know he's had time to heal and everything. And you can see the scar. I really like that kind of detail to their interaction, even in the end.
Oh yeah, because they were like, "Oh, I remember you. I remember you." Oh, one of my other favorite moments of this movie earlier was he kills one of the soldiers. Affirmative. He kills one of the soldiers, and then he takes his mic headset, and then I was waiting for him to go, you know, something like Rambo, right? I'm your worst nightmare or something like that, and all Kurt does is that's all he does is growl.
And then they're trying to decipher it on the ship. He's like, a growl? And he's like, well, Kane just imitated, and that's what it sounded like, was a growl.
That's so fucking metal, bro. He just growled. That's it. It was so good. It was so good.
Or when he gets back in the machine, and I forget where it was. It was probably in one of the crawlers, and he was like, all your soldiers have been what was the word? Because it was the same one they used for him, replaced or whatever like that. He's like, your soldiers been redacted or something. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're obsolete. That's what
obsolete. Yes.
He's like, yeah, you guys are obsolete, because that's what he got told earlier. But let's get to the fight. And I remember seeing this fight in the theater, and what really makes this fight, I mean, it's the cinematography's gorgeous. That's why I want to see this fight in they're fighting in the rain. You got the Christmas lights in the background. You got the explosions during slow motion jump kicks. I mean, I would love to see this in 4K, but when we saw this in theater, what makes this fight effective, not just because it's a good fight. I mean, we weren't going to see no Kurt Russell doing tricking. All right. Tricking wasn't even a thing yet. We're not going to see 5 billion spinning wheel kicks, and we're not going to see Kurt Russell do that. This was like a street fight. You know, Jason did the jump kicks once in a while, but was the sound design was so effective because in the theater, you felt each hit. And what makes that fight stand out even more to me is that there was no music, bro. No music during that fight. And that just, it just made it more brutal. More brutal. And Kurt even whips out the double axe handle maneuver. This is so old school, bro.
Yes.
You don't see anybody do this anymore. It's so OG. But yeah, and he uses his experience because Jason at some point was getting the better of him. And
it was a good misdirection because obviously they're staring each other down, and Kane's got the better of him. And then you see the moment where he's next to like the propeller from the helicopter that's been shot down or whatever at some point.
Yeah.
But he looks over to the right and sees like a skiff over on the ground. And so Kane looks over there and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and get that for you and cut your head off." And that's when, of course, Todd just like grabs the propeller and like hits him with it and fakes him out. So yeah, it's perfect. As you said, he had experience in battle and knew how to misdirect.
Breaks his arm after that. Kept giving him body shots in the wounded midsection. And then this had to have been an homage to Way of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Because the way he breaks his neck, you see his eyes? He's almost sad.
Yep.
It reminded me of Bruce Lee breaking Chuck Norris's neck. He was kind of sad to do that. But out of respect, he had to do it. But yeah, and of course he stands up, and then we have a pointless big explosion afterwards behind him because it's the fucking 90s, and that's how we roll. All right, who gives a shit? It's awesome. Shut up. But yeah, dude, it was a blast. I miss this director. And you notice out of all the first 4 films he did, each one had their own flavor.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat is completely different from Event Horizon. Event Horizon is Soldier's completely different from Resident Evil. I kind of wish Paul would make a comeback. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch In the Lost Lands for free, and maybe I'll be laughing my ass off. I'm like, all right, Paul, you gave us a good bad movie. All right, let's go. We'll see. We'll have to see, but I'm not paying for that shit. Oh my
god.
But yeah, Soldier, dude, underrated, underappreciated, and definitely deserves more love. That's why I'm hoping it gets 4K, because sometimes people would give a movie another shot, especially collectors. They're like, I don't really remember liking that movie, but I'll buy the stale book, and then they'll end up liking it, hopefully. But yeah, definitely deserves to be on the Cult Cinema episode.
So if you were to rate it at a 1 out of 10, what would you give it today?
0. This was all a fraud. This is all bullshit. Anubis paid me on the side to gloss the movie. I hate it. I've always hated it. 1 out of 10. I'll do the. Is that what you do here? You do 1 out of 10s?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll do. What's average? 5 or 6? What's average?
Average is like 5 or 6. I also do it like 7 would be like a C, 8 would be like a B, and then 9 would be like A-, and then 10, of course, is perfect.
Okay. For the genre film that it's the genre it's representing, 8 easy. I give it an 8 for sure. I give it an 8. What do you give it?
I still give it a 10.
That's like a B+, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, fuck it. 9. Fuck it. I'm going.
Yeah, he went back to 8. All right, to an A. So there we go.
9. Fuck it.
He pushed it up.
For entertaining sci-fi action martial arts genre movie, 9.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's great because it does just get right into it. There's no dragging. There's no lulls.
No.
Obviously, it didn't do as well as it should have in the theaters. Yeah. But as we said, it's a lot of people find this to be a cult favorite, and so like, there's a reason for that.
I hope so. I honestly think me, you, and Lady Fat and my buddy are the only ones that like this movie. So I'm glad to hear that other people out
Neko
there.
likes it. Yeah, Neko does like.
Hey, Neko. See, you married the perfect one. You married the right one, man.
That I watched it.
Yeah, she's listening to us. She's like, I remember that.
Yeah, see? And hopefully
tell everybody what you got coming up, my friend. I'm sure you got in the works.
Let's see. What do I have coming up? I just did a video for the channel members, letting them know what's coming up. Let's see, for the rest of this week. I got when is this video going up?
Tonight.
Okay, perfect. Tomorrow, the Yin Yang reviews are returning, where we have fun reviewing 2 movies from completely different genres just for fun. Going to be hanging out with Bone Cold director himself, Billy Hansen, and one of the Gear brothers, Jeff. Alan will be hanging out. We're going to be doing the sci-fi comedy horror movie from Spain called The Passenger. And then we're going to talk about the psychological thriller, The Passenger, which came out in 2023. Yeah, so we're going to have fun doing that tomorrow, Tuesday, at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And a lot more cool stuff coming up very next week. So
cool.
It's too much to remember right now to say all of it.
Yeah. You're a busy guy. As for me, my Ghouls of the Midnight pick this week is Death Screams from the 80s. I can't remember exactly the year, but
nice.
I'm sure I have that information up. And then the next vintage cult cinema, I'll be getting with the professor, and we're going to do the Boondock Saints.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's another fun video. And then, of course, Silver Screen Savants at the end of this week. We're going to do some more Kurt Russell, but only this time he's going to have a little partner named Sylvester Stallone for Tango and Cash.
Yes.
So we're doing that. So that's pretty much what's on the horizon for us here at Metal Tavern Radio. But as always, man, I do appreciate your time hanging out with me and doing this. Please like and subscribe to That Phat Samurai Guy. He's got a lot of great content, and usually at the end of the month, I get to join force with him and Rick Myers for their action film Autopsy series. So
the 31st, the 31st,
always fun doing that.
Saturday the 31st at 3 p.m. Pacific. So join us for that one.
That account, yep.
Thanks for having me, brother. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. As always on this channel, I did my little tribute to the movie we just reviewed to close it out. And for everyone, please like and subscribe. Give us your comments. How do you feel about Soldier 1998? And go give this man some love. He's the inspiration between why I do this now. So,
thank you, brother.
All right, everybody.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to kill them all, sir.